crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice. Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's what the wrapper is doing somehow. This is not a good question. There is no drawn by regret. You carefully The note is written with a blue pencil on a... The bullet is... Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially... The squashed bullet has... You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets.
What? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, if we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to... In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of...
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It's quite destroyed.
What can you say about the bullet so far? A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle.
We were right. This case highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-load.
Even the RCM uses ordinary and jacketed conical bullets. This is...
Something tells you that won't be any time soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while. A rifle, revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. No, but Zeiliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few...
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Revachol, really. I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and banned the use of breech. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzleloaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons. But they...
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Rial Belt.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation. Doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself. Okay, and? What's your best guess? An antique. Sure, there's some new RCM recruit.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to
Imagine if everyone... But back to the investigation. Let's find out. Next step, finding the gun itself.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reels attached to the apparatus with a... You Press the large button marked Commencer, and the tape starts spinning. There's a small delay before the song starts playing. It sounds like someone's moving in the room, getting comfortable. Then the organ starts telling you about the tiniest church in Cessons, surrounded by Within seconds you know this is the one, the real shit you've been looking for. A click, then silence for a bit. Then the tape stops spinning. Of course you could sing this. You could take Sad to a whole new level with this. And you already know the lyrics since you've listened to it like 1,000,000 times. Yup, they're all here. And the B-side of the tape contains the instrumental version. It's like the world itself is telling you to do it. Only one obstacle stands. Gart. You have to convince Gart to let you sing karaoke in the whirling. After you've won him over, the lieutenant watches you pack up. Banged-up motor carriage lies half-submerged in the icy water, slowly sinking into the Insulindian Ocean. Only the cabin top. It must be cold and low. The seawater has already... Remember the tire tracks in Martinez? This is where they were leading.
It appears to be so. I agree. We should definitely investigate.
You get a sudden, sinking feeling. Stomach acid comes up as you look at the motor carriage in the deep, dark, cold water. The motor carriage is properly stuck in the ice. Getting it a single day in the salty seawater would ruin most vehicles, but this one looks worn even in places the salt water hasn't touched it. The logo is too deep in the murky water.
The ice hasn't closed around the vehicle yet. My guess...
The estimate is correct. The incident probably occurred.
Let's wait for the low tide and see what's inside. I don't know. An hour or two, tops?
As you sit down in the old... The hinges creak. Nothing but the sound of seagulls high above in the sky, echoing like distant laughter. The tune on your lips forms a strange, yet the lieutenant gives you a quick glance. Then, still looking straight ahead, he joins you with a higher pitch and two birds on a wire, whistling by the seaside, looking at the clouds pass in the sky, and the shadow of the swing moves like the hour hand on a timepiece. 30 minutes have passed. Looks like this might take a while. Time to present a good topic for discussion.
I'm pretty sure I told you already, didn't I? My dad and mom are both half Zeolite.
Clouds on the horizon grow darker, and the shadow of the swing set keeps climbing. You hear the distant rumble of the city. 30 minutes pass.
Luckily, I am already a member of an independent organization, and therefore do not have to choose between a rock and a hard place.
Your voice echoes on the water, strange and out of place in the environment. 30 more minutes pass.
Detective, I've been able to make out the mark ever since we arrived. I find it odd that you haven't. It's a coup.
Yes.
It is a simple and rugged machine, favored by working men, government offices, firefighters, animal control people. You know, those kind. Yes, 41. What do you think it stands for?
It's as if he knows what it stands for, but wants you to say it. It's pedagogical.
A precinct, yes. A police precinct. Precinct 41. Your precinct.
A massive pit opens up in your... You feel like you're about to faint and fall off the swing. Your hands get... No. Just no. Say no to this, Harry.
I'm afraid so, yes. It looks like you drove your police motor carriage into the sea after you jumped across the canal. Of whom? I don't think so. If anything, you were Detective, we don't. A rescue operation really isn't viable at this point. That is very unlikely. You'd be lucky to find one undamaged component in there. In a few months, there will be nothing. Well, not cheaper. This motor carriage costs 40,000 real. But in the long run, it still makes more sense to buy a new machine than try to refurbish this. Let's face it, this is a substantial loss to your district's budget. I mean, my station only has 4 other vehicles in addition to my kinema. I'm afraid it will have to be there like that for many years. Look at it. Parts of it might be salvageable, but overall, people are more valuable than machines. Training a police officer is even more costly.
The lieutenant... There is also a fourth thing, more precious than the gun, the badge, and the motor carriage, combined. Lost forever into the deepest of...
Yes, let's go take a look.
This is it, the scene of the party. The fire pit, cigarettes, and empty bottles all evidence it. Looks like they were here a while, judging from all the bottles. The sunken motor carriage provided them a focal point, like a goose ice sculpture.
Looks like it. Hey, let's keep moving, detective.
Somehow, worn and beaten wooden planks of the bed.
We can sit on benches after we've...
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant...
Yes?
The scruffy-haired little... The other one looks indistinguishable from him. The kids don't reply. The stone...
He looks just like me.
The boy doesn't answer. The rock kicker was just being shut.
You're bad with kids. You're right there. Let's see if we can find some police work, shall we? We're not getting anything here.
You're not sure about the melody, but it might be.
Welcome to the fishing village. Please lean in close.
Then how does she know you're here?
Oh, welcome, police officer.
We are not here to cause any trouble, madame.
Oh, of course. Last time we saw you around here was 12 years ago. You also came to take care of trouble then. Wish you did. But still, in Martinez, you're considered an ill omen. No, not you personally. I meant the RCM. He was brooding, needed some help opening the door. You got...
She says it as if he was on some kind of spiritual retreat.
You're not. No one around here considers us an ill omen.
Maybe because you're an ill omen. I'm sorry there's not a lot of room to park the motor carriage, and not a lot of houses, or a lot of people. Ah, look at me ramble on. What brings you to stay? That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack. I won't charge you for it. Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM. Don't make an old woman regret opening her house.
Well, if you are not in the hostel in the morning, I'll know where to find you.
He's a little relieved you're no longer in that room.
Just us. It's bare. This is pretty much a non-place. A gap. A blank spot on the map. Just a cluster.
The place is so pornographically poor, it's not even funny.
Here? For you? No, officer. The only money...
Under carts, boats, in little boxes. It's not hard to find. She nods, rinsing another piece of cloth.
Not much. There's the abandoned church, the dollar. Some things just don't fly, officer. Look around.
So, they don't hold services?
No, we've tried, but things just keep happening. Crime, accidents.
She's not telling you all she knows. Keep her talking.
Well, there's that music. And now, suspicious-looking people are sneaking around the church. Before you get to the church, there's some ruins. And I don't know exactly. A pre-war place. Of note, the old fish market up on the... No one. That's why it's closed. Now, What catch we do bring in goes straight into a lorry for the Delta or somewhere else. What? You're one of those real estate... Used to be a supply depot. And now you know everything there is to know. Me? No one. Now it's your turn. Why, I guess I will, Harry. Aye, he just rolls off the top. He did too many narcotics. So many, he fell off his boat and split his skull on a buoy. Folks...
Tremble. The time is now. Time for the show. For Ta'ola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. Ulogu Theodos. Xeno Zausin. Ipoli Osithian. Yes, you spoke the words of the Palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its... The face of the woman fractures. There will be herd killing. The door has seen better days.
I'll wait outside to give you some after we are done with the day. I'll still be staying in the whirling in rags for the night.
The key to... On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. Like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman. The sharp blade chafes against your skin. They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. The water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face, despite the bulbous nose. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see your reflection in it. The expression fixed to your clean-shaven...
Hi, officer. Anything I can help you with? The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker.
Ask her about the cool sword. Helps to break the ice.
Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's to intimidate folks, mostly. It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. Nothing fancy. From time to time, people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time. What makes you think we haven't? That goes for men too. But they put on an act for us. Pretend like everything's good and living in shit doesn't bother them. Like anyone. Sure. It looks as if you could face down any horror in the world with that same...
The traces of her laughter are still there, in her eyes.
No, I'm afraid not. Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, gone. To the waves. The sea took him. It was a long time. He didn't respect the sea. Went out there, drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat... Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles. Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. Life didn't really change.
This is neither a touchy. She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action.
Sure is. The sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. Aye.
No, ma'am. We have no...
Good. It would have been bad news had it turned out it wasn't a sunny day.
There's a moment's silence. She looks at the slushy snow melt on the yellow belly of the boat.
In time, when the sea turns and the wind...
My prediction, it will be at least 2 days.
Let's see. Who are you? I don't think I know what these are. Care to elaborate? Aha! Like snowmen. 2 old guys have been wandering around here, nose in sand, talking nonsense about snowmen and the like. I don't really know. Further down the peninsula, I guess. I mean, that's where they were headed. Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Oh? Aha! 2 old guys have been wandering around. Right. Not only snowmen, also...
Oh, you're getting it.
I don't really know. Further down the peninsula, I guess. Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Like I said, fish. I sell the fish to people in the delta. Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea... Wood, pieces of glass, bottles, drugs,
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
Well, you're barking under the wrong tree then, officer. I have no interest in floaters. Seen enough of them in my life already. Very unattractive.
Something isn't right about him, despite his limp. The man, the jolly-looking man, then sudden, apparently oblivious to his partner's treachery, the uniformed man.
Officer, God damn it. Pull yourself together, René. Yes, the Debardeurs Union pay. I'm an old.
He feels like he has to justify himself for some...
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. No one.
No one has been gone.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officers. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before, René. Monsieur.
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman...
Look, officer, can we conclude the topic of my guard boost now? She is nobody.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Yes, like I said, it would be up anyway. Yes. No. It was left by heavy... Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. This place is a damn beachhead, son. They didn't do it because they didn't like it. They had to... Yes, the military... Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revenge. This here is Blood Ground, where coalition...
Blood Ground. You got old René going there.
Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. The rest of this...
Well...
You don't even...
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
Preposterous! Surely you don't mean it. I would have preferred...
This royal failure weighs heavily on him.
Instead, all that... This is just what the commies wanted. It doesn't. That was 100 years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with anything. Damn Friss.
He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller.
A true king in both blood and mind. Let Revenge...
Wait. Joyce said William ran, and his nephew, Frizzle, was shot in his place.
This is communard propaganda. Guillaume would never do so. The suzerain is the king. As everyone...
Soon, they will forget everything.
It's no use talking to you. Isabelle McGrave. Fop. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing, and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty. Where did you find her? I understand. Unfortunately, I don't know what else to tell you. These BMs are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find. Ah, yes.
Oh,
A superpower. Feared and respected.
Oh, old Philippe was a big fan of the...
You can't even... That's why.
Of course.
Philippe the
Higher realms. Of course, it all makes sense.
It's really not.
Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries past.
Right.
As René turns from you to his partner and back. 2. The larger one is shaped like a cross. A crowned head in front of 2 crossed... It's the Croix de Bravoure. Cross of Valor. The cross was the highest... A small blue star inside it. The setting sun was a decoration...
For bravery.
It's a conflicted topic for the old veteran. There must have been a number of controversial episodes in his service days.
For doing my duty in the heat of battle, for looking my mortality in the eye.
He saved some muddy princeling who foolishly strolled into the front line in his gown of velvet and gold.
It was on the first months of the revolution. King Frisant, alas.
He really despises that Drisant fellow.
Purple velvet tunic.
To keep the long and bloody story short, Drisant marched us against the party. The rebels were smart. They let us come real close before opening fire. I got shot in the left shoulder and went down. Just a flesh wound. Then his horse, driven mad by the noise and smell of gunpowder, stepped on my leg and shattered my knee. I grabbed my sidearm and shot the beast in the head.
Captain Arnoux.
When I came to, it was all over. It was just me and Joel. The Dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant to die. Tougher than he looked, that one. He didn't. I hoisted the prick on my back and started crawling. Through some miracle. He was the commanding officer and I was on duty. Just doing my job. Shouldn't hand up.
You sense he's downplaying it. He did a lot more than his duty. The old Carabiner.
What monster? And that...
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even
Maybe, but also bear in mind, officer. Oh no, you have to get shot. Repeatedly.
Do not speak of what you know nothing about, Poltroon. Because he was a goddamn... Royal blood alone doesn't make... Bah!
Oh yeah.
I'm not!
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier.
Yes, the Debardeurs, I'm an old...
He feels...
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, it's a private matter.
You see,
I'm fine, goddammit!
It's his heart.
No one.
No one?
Yes,
Look, officer.
the possibility.
Evrard created this job for René because...
Can we conclude the topic of my guard? Yes, like I said.
Go long. Go deep. Go unconventional.
Sure, officer. Let's hear your take. I'm not following you.
He'll get it. Don't worry. Just continue. He's gonna be impressed. The man stares at you. Doesn't look like he's imagining it. The Carabiner crosses his arms and spits in the crater.
You're talking about getting blackout shit-faced drunk and going...
The lieutenant looks up from his notes and nods to the old Carabiner.
Was the vessel you boarded the HMS Commodore Red?
The name echoes through the deep dark halls of history. It calls to you and your kin.
You mean alcohol? Everyone can see that, yes. And I thought getting my knee shattered and surviving...
Your sarcasm will be your undoing, old man. The veteran of numerous armed conflicts extends his right arm. Flashes of bloody and terrible scenes of war. All of this accompanied by a musical composition telling of heroism.
Was there something else you wanted to take from?
I don't think there was anything else he wanted, was there? You got the medal. Now let's solve the crime.
It is such a pleasure to see you again, officer. How may I head the citizens' militia on the...
No, you're not. Enforcing proper conduct in an amateur pétanque game is not something the RC...
What do you mean, officer? It's not very...
He's faking. If you want to expose him, get straight to the point. If you start japing about old age, it's never gonna happen.
What?
Who did you think you were fooling with your...
I don't understand, René.
This guy can act. Not sure I would have caught it if we...
You were a rat when we were boys, and you are a rat now. 6 months go by, and I realize you must think I've gone blind from all this shrapnel in...
Pardon, René. We must pick this up later. I'm helping the officer right now. Oh, sweet Jenny. She was the finest...
Do not defile her memory, Gas...
His tone lacks its usual intensity.
We knew her, all right. Lived on the same... She was René's first girl, back when the prick was 16. They...
And then you stole her from me.
Oh, officer. It already got ugly nearly...
You stole her from me.
Well, technically, you stole her from me. Because we'd been pretty close ever since you two had that falling out.
We were just boys then. No point starting this all over again. For the 1000th and the...
She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. René and I were both by her bedside when she...
Died. No use sugarcoating it.
Departed. She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast? She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married. Heck, technically, we're both still engaged to her.
You always confused her. Couldn't let us be happy. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastry.
He suddenly remembers you are still there.
Of course, officer. Memories are all we have left.